and welcome to another update of the Virtual Team League Weekly. So week 3 is gone. We'll have a look back at the movers and shakers, and also where we're going to have now teams out of the interim league that have done their 3 qualifying rounds positioned into whichever league they've gone into. We're also going to take an in-depth look at going live and having a double check of that checklist that we talked about last week, and ensuring that you've got everything in place for verification of your scores for going live team round. We'll also have a look at some of the star performers as well, and looking ahead to week 4 and 5 as we close in on to the end of season 2. So let's have a look at how these leagues panned out in week 3. Okay, then let's take a look and have a check on these leagues, starting with the Premier League. And, well, Virtual Ravens 1 still out in front with 2 of the best scores out of the 3 weeks so far with 3-9-6-9, and then followed by the England Invaders, Swanage Sharks, PDA Virtual Team, Team Bristol Warriors, who've had a great score 1 week there, as you can see with the little stars. It's what the gold stars mean for those that have topped the scores that week. Then Virtual Ravens 2, we've got Untouchable Slims, Tewkesbury Titans, and Team USA 1 in the Premier League. Don't forget though, as from next week, you'll have the interim edition of Team Sunball, so they'll be dropped into the league going into week 4. Okay, now, and the championship table. Irish All-Stars then topping the tree with 3-3-6-1, followed by Virtual Regulators, Bristol Dynamo, and by Dorsky Orly, who have also had a great week. So the stars there showing who have had the best scores of the week. Moving then into League 1, just to say that Darts and Stoke have got 2 great weeks there, and the Team Panthers, as we saw from the Blackburn Youth Darts Academy, had a fantastic week the other week. But again, fairly tight in the top 3 in that division as well, and we look forward to seeing who's going to be making it from what league in the next few weeks. We're in week 4 now as I speak, so we've only got a couple of weeks left to find out who the movers and shakers will be. So let's move on to our technical area, Tech Corner. Okay then, so last week we touched on player responsibilities and did a little screenshot just to remind people of what to do when going live for your team, so if you're one of those 4 players. This week we'll go into a little bit more detail, so I'm going to bring it up on the screen and we'll go through them one by one of what you need to do when you're going live for your team on your team page. So there are a couple of new teams and new team members joining all the time, so let's go through the player responsibilities, which is the little tick boxes just before you go live on Virtual Team League. So let's start at the top. So player responsibilities for dartboards. So your dartboards need to be at a particular setting, so we're all thrown from the same distance, and they are a bullseye height of 173 centimetres at 5'8" in old money, and your distance for your oci line should be 7'9" and a quarter, or 237 centimetres. So every time you're ticking these boxes, you're clarifying that you are actually doing it from those areas. You must post your score on your team page. 1 or 2 get it put on the wrong page. Our verification team has a list of obviously all of the teams, so they'll be running through those each week. So we need to make sure you're on that actual team page doing your live round. And if you can, just tag in at JDC Virtual and your name, so we know which team member is doing the live score. The other thing to remember is that you need to keep them on the page because our verification team have got a lot to get through and they need to make sure they can see the scores that are going in. The other thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that we have the camera showing the board clearly at the right distance and fairly level if possible. 1 or 2 are underneath or a little bit too far to the side, so if we can get a good clear view of the dartboard and yourself retrieving the darts. The other thing as well is that the other device you use for scoring on Go Darts Pro needs to be at full volume so that we can hear what scores have been entered and they correspond with what has been shot at the dartboard. But we need to hear that, so we need to make sure that that is on full volume as well. So it's all about board settings, the volume, and then when you're going live for your team, that you tag in at JDC Virtual, pop your name next to that as well so we know which team member is going live. And that all comes through your Facebook page for your team. So your team captain would have set that up and you will go live from there. There we are then. That rounds up week 3 of Virtual Team League Weekly. And we look forward to the next couple of weeks as we're going over halfway now into Season 2. Wonderful to see some of the new teams getting positioned into their leagues, which we'll go through next week. And don't forget those player responsibilities. For the good of everybody, let's make sure we're all doing it the same way, and we can enjoy further rewards and fun on JDC Virtual Team Weekly as we go forward. So, all the best, have some fun, and we'll catch up with you next week.